Lights are out on the South Alabama Speedway pace car. Michael Atwell and Stephen Nasse getting ready to bring you to the green.
2 by 2 into the box. Atwell on the bottom, Nasse up top, green flags waving. We're racing in the 49th Hardee's Rattler 250. Atwell will get the jump on the bottom. Here comes Gabe Summers, little wiggle off of turn number 2. We got Calamity back behind it. Bubba Pollard, Casey Roderick both spun in turn number 2.
We talked about what was going to happen with those two drivers having to start so deep in the field. Would they be able to avoid the chaos? And the answer is no. Just not even one lap into this event, hadn't even made it towards the backstretch, and both Casey Roderick and Bubba Pollard are involved in an early accident here at the Rattler 250.
We'll try it one more time as the field comes out of turn number 4. Can it get the green flag? Once again, Michael Atwell will get the advantage on the bottom of the racetrack. Nasse in the high lane, but Summers is going to get to the second spot, or at least side by side with Nasse. Fitch crosses over, but Hyde sticks it in there to try to take the inside advantage.
Drivers are not messing around early on here. Very aggressive, trying to secure some early positions. Michael Hyde on the inside of Stephen Nasse is going to grab the third spot, trying to make this a battle as the 7th place car, as Nasse finally able to take a look to the inside. Patience looks like it's trying to pay off as Hyde sideways, dirt tracking it up the corner, saves it, but Nasse's going to get the spot.
Nasse to the bottom of the racetrack, used the bumper just a smidge on the 69 of Hyde, kicked him to the top of the racetrack. Left side of your screen, big time trouble almost for the 14 of Atwell. He had the early trouble, but he's now back up into 6 as Colin Allman continues to drive. He's going to go up into the third position. Third position as he passes Stephen Nasse. Moved Colin Allman to the podium spot.
If you were to tell me coming into this event who could possibly get out of here and get a top 3 finish, I don't think Colin Allman would be a name that would be high on your list, but they are proving the doubters wrong here this weekend. What a showing so far here for the small little team out of Plant, the little team that could.
The little race car that could is what Colin Allman says.
I thought I saw a car that was off the pace here on the front stretch, and it is the 23. Bubba Pollard is off the pace on the backstretch. I heard the car not under power here on the front straightaway, and the 23 of Pollard slows, and he is headed towards the pit area.
Terrible break for Pollard, who had driven himself up inside the top 10. We're going to be coming to the halfway mark right here, and Hall got to the bumper of the 14 machine but could not win it. So we go to the halfway break with Michael Atwell having led 124 of 125 laps. However, the big story at the moment is Bubba Pollard off the pace, Jake.
But most importantly, Pollard stayed on the racetrack. He did go a lap down, but he is going to be our lucky dog winner, and that's going to be a terrible break for Steve Dorr.
Checkers here. Michael Atwell and Corey Hall on the front row. Green flags back out. And we're going to go to a checkered flag here in the Rattler 250. Call with a really good restart. We'll put that Dodge Mopar nose out in front of Michael Atwell. They're leaning on each other just a little bit in turn number 3 and 4, but Atwell will get the drive off the corner and will lead that lap by 71 thousandths of a second.
Lots of American Racer rubber has now been rubbered into this speedway, and brand new fresh tires for these drivers. Did they make the appropriate adjustments? Have they kept up with the racetrack? Colin Allman on the move, looking to take second away from Corey Hall. Move Plant City, Florida's Colin Allman to second in the Rattler.
If any of these front 3 drivers, Atwell, Allman, or Hall, win this race, I think you would have to call it an upset. But if it's Allman, you would have to call it a monumental upset.
Up front, though, it's still Michael Atwell. That story hasn't changed. He runs just ahead of the 67 of Colin Allman and the 83 of Hall with 100 laps to go, and we got big trouble here on the front straightaway. Everybody stacked up on the start-finish line. The 69 of Michael Hyde has significant damage to the rear and the right rear of that car. Michael Goddard is around as well. Looks like the right rear tire down on the 44 of Justin Mondyke, and both the 33 of Daniel Webster and 112 of Timothy Watson have come to a stop as well, and it looks like for the time being everybody is going to be able to roll away from this one except for the 44 of Mondyke.
The Mike Scott Plumbing Machine, as we get a replay here on Racing America from our speed shot. That's going to be the 44 of Mondyke. That engine had expired on the 44, and everybody else just gotten the oil, I think, up on the front straightaway. The flames coming out of the back of the 44 of Mondyke, and everybody else has had nowhere to go. One more replay of it. You see, smoke, flames, and fluid pouring out of the back of the 44. You see the Goddard 40 goes around Hind with the worst end of it. All total about 25 years in the flag stand. As we're going back racing here at South Alabama Speedway, Atwell and Almond, two Florida hot shoes. They're trying to figure out who's going to lead the Rattler 250. Coming back, Jake, to 100 laps to go.
I think Atwell was driving a little bit on eggshells. We've got a big-time mess down there in turn number 3. Daniel Webster has gone around. Looks like Michael Goddard is involved as well as the field stacks it up here as we're unable to get one lap in. Could be itching for a pretty big upset here as we get ready to go back to green with 94 laps to go in the Rattler. Atwell and Allman lead him down to 1.
Allman almost jumped that start. He was out ahead of our race leader at the end of the restart box, but he gave the position back, so there shouldn't be any type of penalty coming. What that will do, though, is will break his momentum and get him hung up on the outside. That's going to be a battle for second. Corey Hall, the Canadian hot shoe, on the bottom. Colin Ullman up top. They're chasing Michael Atwell, and look here, you hear the Jaws music starting to get a little bit louder. Stephen Nassy re-enters the picture. It's getting time. The pay window's about to open, and classy Stephen Nassy is getting ready to cash in.
We had talked about it earlier. We're not used to seeing Stephen Nassy with the type of performance he had in qualifying. We're used to seeing him kind of start a little bit deeper in the field as Allman very smartly opts to drop to the inside and will go back to the 4th position, gets right ahead of the 51.
Yeah, watch the rear of the 51 of Nassy here as he works through 3 and 4. You're going to see a light puff of smoke out of the back of the 54 each time through the middle of the corner, and you see he's losing some speed. He doesn't quite have the pace, and now he goes up the racetrack. He might be having some sort of issues. The smoke beginning to get a little thicker off the back of the 51 is our 3rd heavy hitter of the afternoon having some sort of problem.
We're going to continue to monitor that as Nassy now back to 4th. Jake Finch starts to close in. Later in that first part of the race, it's coming to life here. Could he challenge the 14 of Michael Atwell? We're going to find out in less than 50 laps. Trouble off of turn number 4. It's the number 1. Steve Dorr has gone around after contact with the 112 of Timothy Watson. Kendrick Cryer does a great job to avoid that one, and we are under caution once again. Whether it's been Allman or Hall, he has defeated all challengers so far on the outside as we get ready to go back to green. Atwell brings him to the line, and Allman draws pretty even with him down through 1 and 2 and actually sticks a nose out in front. But here comes Atwell answering back down the backstretch. They're neck and neck into 3 for the lead.
Biggest challenge of the afternoon for Michael Atwell comes from Colin Allman. Allman going to squeeze him off the corner at the line. Atwell by a bumper. Allman going to hang tough on the outside, but he may have to give the spot to Michael Atwell. He'll do so, tucks back in line, and now it's time for Colin Allman, if he has it, to go to work on the rear of the 14.
Veteran move there by Allman to jump back into line, knowing that there's still 47 laps to go in this race, and they are about a half a straightaway ahead of our race leader. Car off the pace on the front stretch. It's Jake Finch. Our 5th place running car is off of the pace, and the yellow flag is out with 17 to go.
And with that, everything changes.
That changes everything. 17 laps to go as we restart here with Atwell and Allman on the front row again. Big-time problems for Corey Hall. He's going to lose several spots. Gabe Summers gets around. Looks like Summers is off the pace a little bit. Looks like he may have had to either give up a few spots or he may have a tire going down. We'll keep an eye on the 15. Here goes Allman taking a peek to the inside of Atwell. Nassy there in 3rd, and new 4th place running car, Dustin Smith, from 20th all the way to 4th here with nearly 15 to go in the Rattler 250. And that's what it is. Michael Atwell, one lap away from the biggest win of his career.
Atwell just a few short moments away from putting his name among the legends of short track racing. 49 Rattler 250s have been done. Nobody has ever dominated one more than Florida's Michael Atwell. He wins the Rattler 250 at South Alabama Speedway, leading 249 of 250 laps this afternoon at South Alabama Speedway.